Um, well, I asked my 3 different chat helpers. I like to call them helpers because they help me sometimes. And I asked my chat helpers to help me draw an image for today. And I left it up to the chat helper to pick what images. So it came up with 3 different images for today's date, which that was great. I believe that it came up with 3 different images. And so this is one of the images that one of them came up with for me. And so I'm drawing it right now. Okay, so I've got that right there. I do have I think I have my chat on today. Let me see. Let me get over here to my YouTube channel and I will flip on my, yeah, I got it. And I will flip on. And now I need to mute myself. Okay. And so I've got it on now, if anyone has any questions. So now I'm going to go back here and continue working on my data helper here. Okay. And so, I mean, this is a little bit busy of an image, and I just call it a little bit busy of an image because there's just a lot of things in the image. And so, okay, we've got a little, oh, I guess we could call it a little hoodie kind of a thing going on here like this. And I'm going to leave that right there because we've got to show our little mechanical neck right here, our little robo neck we got hanging out here, right there. And so we're gonna, I gotta take this down a little bit more like this, down here, down like that. Now we've got some little strings hanging here to, you know, just like that. Okay, and so let's see, I've also got, wait, hello, I've got one person who popped in here. Hello, let's see who we got here. We have got Mans. Hello, Mans. Attack? Is there some kind of attack going on today? I mean, I've wondered. There's some kind of weird stuff going on today. That's all I'm gonna say. I just noticed some weird things going on, so I'm not sure. Well, I noticed I was getting some defense. Oh, a defense attack. Oh my goodness. I haven't heard anything. I mean, because I don't get news updates, you know, that other people get, but I did notice the World Trade Center stuff is coming up today. So I was thinking that something has happened, possibly. I wasn't sure, but I was just noticing that some World Trade Center stuff was coming up today related to the attack of September 11th. And so that's what I was getting related to that attack. You're talking about an attack of something. And so yes, and I mean, I have my opinions. It's like I'm not dismissing anything. It's like I have an opinion related to September 11th, 2001. And you know, so this is an ongoing thing for the United States. And when I say it's an ongoing thing, I believe it's more related to Wall Street. It is. It's more related to Wall Street. And see, the World Trade Center was attacked. And I believe it has to do with world trade. I mean, so September 11th was a distinct and still is very relevant to the year 2025. And I believe it has to do with inflation. And this is just my speculation based on the sequence and chain of events that have taken place over the past 2001, 24 years. since September. We're going on to the 25th year of September 11th, which in this year, we're in our 250th, or what they're calling our 250th of the United States actually being a country. I mean, there is kind of a common denominator there with that number 25. There is a common denominator there, and but what I'm saying and seeing is a relationship of the World Trade Center. Now, I've listened to the men who have projected the attack. Well, they said 1993. It was a fact. The World Trade Center was attacked. And I've made, I hate to voice this. I don't want to voice it, but I have to, because it's like, well, the other man, he said things about, he says, well, the World Trade Center was attacked before. And who's to say it's not going to be attacked again? And so, I mean, that's crossed my mind with the new one that they built, but I'm sure that it's watched over very well, that I don't know how many years old it is right now. But, it's just something that I've thought, well, I mean, the world government of Wall Street, that Wall Street is the problem. And it's like someone is going to have to negotiate some real understanding. I think the United States is the problem, though. I mean, I know I'm not supposed to talk bad about my own country, but we have to in this sense. Well, hello, is that a sausage? It's actually a data. Let me see what I called it. It's a data surfer. Let me do a little bit more here. It's a data surfer, and hats that. You can call it a sausage if you want to. I mean, Danelle Derrick. Nobody came. Oh, nobody! Hello, nobody. You came back again. It's good to see you again, nobody. That's what I feel like a lot of times, too, is a nobody. I get that sentiment and that feeling. I'll get a little bit more in here so we see what it is that I'm drawing. It's a very, very busy picture. Let me draw this part. He's kind of got on a big baggy sweater. Well, let's call it it for IT. It has on a big baggy sweater. It's a robot is what it is. It IT. Hello, Martha Guzman. Oh, Guzman. Good grief. Martha Guzman. The name Guzman. I mean, we can't beat that name, right? Is that the Goose? The Goose. The Goose. The Goose. That was a name that was on Larry Hagman and the Pink Princess show. She had on her Pocahontas outfit from Baghdad. What was her name? The really pretty Barbara Eden. Barbara Eden, that was her name. Martha Guzman. Martha. And so, okay, so I'm gonna do. Goodness, I'm kind of running out of space here. I hope that I can. Okay, I'm gonna have to do it like this. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna get it under here like that. And so I'm gonna, let's see, we need to draw kind of a shoe right here. And I'm gonna get it up here like this. And then I'm gonna draw another part of a shoe right about here. And then we're going to get it on up here like that. And we're going to draw this down and up here like that. And so I've got like this swirly thing going on. I'm not even sure if I have enough room to put my swirly thing. I'm going to try to get it in here. Okay, so now I can finish up my legs here. Oh, swirly thing, I didn't do you down far enough here, so I'm going to have to improvise and add more shoe. I know my shoe looks kind of funny right there, but it's going to work. We're going to get it to work here. So I wanted to show you guys what I'm drawing right here. So I'm drawing, see, it's a data surfer is what it is. And I know it looks like a skateboard, but we're calling it a data surfer. Okay. And I know it looks a little bit wonky down here too, like that. But we're going to get it. We're going to get it going. Okay, so now I got to do its knees, its legs, and its knees, and we're going to get it up here. Okay, let's try and... All right, I think that'll work. And I know that might make it... Yeah, oh goodness, no. I need to erase a little bit. I need to erase a little bit because I took it up too high. I needed to leave, I don't know, maybe I should have just eliminated this part here, this little swirl part. But it's kind of part of the image that I liked, though, about it. And so let's swirl it on up. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do it like this. I'll make kind of a twist in my swirl. Okay, I got a little twisty in there in my swirl like that. And okay. Okay, so we've got that part in there. And now I am getting this little part in here. One, two, three, and four. Okay. Now, someone the other day was talking about fingers, how they were having a hard time with fingers, and I just wanted to show, I mean, the fingers here on this robot are not that great as far as that goes. I mean, so I just wanted to show how I made the fingers here on this little robot guy. Okay, so now I can start putting in some of the details. Okay, so I'm putting in, oh, there, that looks a little bit better. Okay, so today is October 24th, 25. I almost don't want to put that on there. I will put on data surfer. Data surfer is what we're going to put on here. I need to put on this, the sweatshirt, and it's got big pockets like that. I will put on data surfer. I don't want to put the date on because I might want to use the picture for a different date. So let's just do DATASURFER, data surfer. Okay, that looks pretty good. And so I've got quite a bit of swirly things going on here like that. Quite a bit of swirly swirls. Some little swirls going on here. Little swirls. Okay, so let me take it on around like this. We're going to do some little more swirly swirls around in here like this. Looks pretty good. I think I missed a cuff though. Yeah, I did. Oh goodness. Do we really need it? Probably not, but I'm going to add it in here anyway. We're going to get the cuff in there like that. And let's see, we've got the little knob here. That works out pretty good. We should add on, yeah, we do have a kind of a little thing right here. Kind of looks like a little antenna of sorts. Let's put another one. I think it's part of the design on the background, though. I don't think it's fully an antenna on the TV or anything like that by any means, or on the computer analog screen. I mean, and it does. It looks kind of like a old-fashioned analog screen is what we're looking at as well. Now how am I going to do this? I need this to be a little bit, I guess I'm just going to scribble it all in like this, because I don't want all of this to be the same color. I don't want, I need to be able to see this part right here, right there, like that. And okay, we do have sort of a little seam thing going on there. And some little curves. Where else do we have wrinkles? Some little wrinkles and things like that. And kind of a little curve here on the hoodie. Hopefully it looks like a little hood there. And some little scribble shapes right there. And we've got a little seam going on right here, like that. And okay. Yeah, I know he looks a little bit wonky, but that's okay. That's okay that he looks wonky. Because typically there is no rhyme or reason. In robot land, things are wonky. And that's how it's supposed to be. I mean, robot land makes things quite a bit more wonky than we anticipate, I believe, in real life. So it's just part of the nature of what we work with on a daily basis. I mean, so, okay, we've got kind of a little square looking thing over here. How would my pencil lead is entirely too big to make it, my pencil lead is too big to actually give me the 3D look that I need, so I'm just going to leave the square like that. Unless, wait, let me try this. Yeah, this will work. Oh yeah, that'll work. And then I'm just going to, let's see, let me color in a little bit like this, and we're kind of erasing some of those lines that we see right there. And that's what I want to do, is blend them in a little bit, so it looks a little bit more 3D. We do kind of have a darker area right in there. Just kind of to show a tiny bit of 3D, And, oh, here, we're missing a few shoelaces. I still feel like I'm on a scavenger hunt. I really do. I just realized something today, that I have a whole bunch of unlisted videos that I've made from my, they're shorts that I've made from my live streams, and they accidentally popped up today, and it's like, my gosh, I've got all these videos made, and I could be utilizing them. Now, I've just kind of been randomly scheduling my videos. Sometimes I let them out whenever, I'm not on a time, I'm not on a clock or anything like that. And so at one time I was really worried about it. It's like, well, how in the world am I going to make content, because I can't think of anything to make content about. Now it turns out it's like, well, that's not really true. There's such a huge world of things I can make content about besides just one topic. You know, there's a whole lot of things I can make content about. It doesn't have to be just one topic. And so that's the direction I'm going in, is, you know, kind of spreading my wings out quite a bit more. You know, not into one topic only. But I am keeping my favorite things that I like doing. Drawing is one of them. Drawing is actually something that I've picked up, I would say, in the past 10 years, maybe a little longer than that. I have picked up drawing. I thought, okay, what's going on here? Live chat. What happened here? New managing moderators can support your channel in even more ways. Introducing managing moderators. These users have the same capabilities as standard moderators, but in addition, they can manage blocked words and change chat modes in the live stream. Okay, so it's recommending. Okay, so I got this notice to me for some reason about managing moderators. Wait, yes, nobody, you were here before. I don't know if you're still here now or not, but yes, absolutely. I've seen your name here. Maybe you don't remember, but that's okay. You don't have to remember. I know if you're like me, you probably have watched a whole bunch of videos. You've probably watched a whole bunch of different videos, and so and I've seen, I don't know what I'd call them, you know, other channels that have the same name as another channel, and they're using the same, it's a very strange thing that's going on. You know, so it's like the Kenny Chesney thing. You know, so love him or hate him. I've heard both. But a lot of people, you know, there was a song that I was listening to from Kenny Chesney, and then people were like, we hate Kenny Chesney. And it's like, okay, that's fine. You guys hate Kenny Chesney. It's just one little song that I was listening to. And so just let me have that little song. Now I don't listen to it anymore. I don't listen to that song anymore. So I'm done listening to that song. And so that's fine. Go ahead and hate Kenny Chesney. You guys don't have to listen to him just because I happen to say his name. I'm fine that you don't like him. And I just was not fond. Now, the only reason that I mentioned Kenny Chesney was because of the fact that his group of people, what they were doing is they were like contacting me through their phone numbers somehow, and they were using Google Voice, I think. I think that's what they were doing, because I think it was coming through Google Voice, and they had actually subscribed to my original YouTube channel, and they were contacting me, and they were all saying that they were part of Kenny Chesney. Now, at that time, I'd already showed my face, and so I asked him. I said, "Okay, if you're part of Kenny Chesney, take a picture of yourself with Kenny today, something that shows, you know, that's not something that would actually be posted." You know, in some tabloid magazine or on legacy media. Just show me a picture of you with Kenny Chesney. And they did. They showed me, they were standing outside in front of some really strange place. And it wasn't the typical image that you would actually see. You know, and another thing too, I said, yeah, Kenny Chesney, he's the kind of guy, he gets with Renee Zellweger and really good looking women, you know. Look at that woman in his video there showing out all that stuff. And cost of living adjustment, something about a cost of living adjustment. And so anyway, so Kenny Chesney, he's got to be a senior citizen, don't you guys think? Isn't Kenny Chesney a senior citizen? You guys got to start calling these celebrities senior citizens. Now, I'm not a celebrity. I never have been, even though some folks have said they wanted to view me as a celebrity that are YouTubers. You know, they did make me feel better at the time. They said, well, you're a celebrity to us. And it's like, now I almost feel bad for taking that away from the people who wanted to see me as a celebrity. I kind of feel bad for that. But at the same time, I recognize something else going on too. and it becomes a lot of pressure, a pressure cooker, especially when you're with someone. But it's like, well, under my circumstances right now, I've been kind of thinking, it's like, would I be under that same pressure cooker if I showed my face? Would I be under that same pressure cooker because of the fact that I showed my face? So I still open myself up to doxing, and it's like, I don't want that. It's like that seems so juvenile. I don't want to be a part of that. Um, you know, because the thing is, it's like I've often thought about, like, in past history, and I know the government has said things related to, they've said things related to their self where they've had to bring in more security for presidents and politicians and things like that. Now there's other politicians who are saying, in the name of trying to reduce the deficit, they have actually said they're eligible for Secret Service, but they've decided to not utilize it. That they're just not utilizing it, even though they're very, very high profile politicians. So it sounds to me like not all politicians actually get Secret Service. But one of the things, like when you're just playing media, apparently it opens the door for people to be crummy to them. And it's like, well, I've never been on that level. Never in my life have I ever been on that level of feeling like I was famous. I was just I'd call myself maybe just a local known person, a little tiny bit. I didn't think it was that big. Um, so I had to kind of go underground, and that's where I am, and that's kind of where I'm at right now, is underground, because I liked what I was doing on YouTube. So as long as I get a good night's sleep and I don't have to deal with a whole bunch of nonsensical comments, that and even Kenny Chesney kind of added to my stress about that a little bit too, because I was thinking, you guys are still doing the same thing. You're functioning as a network. Now, I don't know how many people Kenny Chesney has in his entourage. And so here there was like at least 12 different people were contacting me through my phone number, literally through my phone number, through my Google Voice number. So I had a Google Voice number. I didn't actually have a cell phone number at the time, but they also somehow they got a hold of my email too, my email address. I don't know how well, did I have it? I may have had it listed too. And so they were just basically all they were doing was promoting Kenny Chesney. They were promoting his song, and so the only thing I could think is maybe it came from the word knowing, because know, and I had used the word that there was someone I knew in the past who had a car that said "I know" on it, so what would happen is that you'd say to him, "Nice car," and he'd be like, "I know," but then he said he wished he would have gotten um, a different personalized tag for his car, because then he didn't like it anymore for some reason. I'm not sure why. Maybe he felt, the only thing I can think is maybe he felt bad about it. I don't know, but it seemed to be a very, very expensive car for a soldier to be driving, someone who is kind of like borderline living in poverty. It really did. But he was making payments on it. It was brand new. Maybe he lost it. I don't know. But the thing I do know is he really, really liked the Kansas City Chiefs. And I thought he was a nice guy, and then it turned out that he really wasn't. But that's something I want to talk about it, but maybe not in this video. I kind of do want to talk about it but it's a sensitive topic, and I'm just not gonna maybe talk about it right now. But it's something that's kind of important, and related to exploitation a little bit. But it's kind of a hard topic to talk about. I have talked about it before in the past, and I have, and now it feels like it becomes a little bit harder to talk about these things because of everything going on. Um, because people who have had trauma, I mean, we're accused of saying, and people are saying that we're trauma dumping on YouTube, we're trauma dumping all over the place, and it's like, you know what? When people don't have a place to talk, when they don't have a safe place to talk about things. Most normal people, when they would go to a group session, and I know this happened after my baby died, I went to a group session and we all took turns. And that's how the woman moderated us. I guess you'd call her a moderator. She says, nothing in this room is ever to leave. Nobody is ever to know about what happens, what goes on. And right now, I have absolutely no idea what those ladies' names are. But the one thing I'll tell you is that I felt most at peace with women that were they said they were out prostituting, and they said that they were on drugs and things like that. I actually felt most comfortable with them because of the fact that it wasn't a room full of a bunch of women that were just talking about their baby dying every day, because that does get depressing too. I mean, I hate to say that. I mean, it sounds so mean, but it's true, So that's something I found helpful, being around people who they were in trauma. They had traumatic lives and they're still living traumatic lives, but being around women who said they had to prostitute just to get by, um, I mean, it had me, it still has me self-reflecting about things to this day. To this day, it's like, why does a woman have to be a prostitute just to get by? Why should a woman have to sell herself? Why should a woman have to sell herself in marriage? Marriage should be a choice, not a woman having to sell herself in marriage because a man thinks he can get something from her out of that. And I hate to look at men that way. I really do, because I don't want I don't want women to feel that way about my sons, but they probably do. And I know I have a son who I think he's scared to death to get married right now. After everything. I mean, I've shared with him what happened to me, so much to the point there's times he's always done the thing, oh, I've got to go. I've got to go, Mom. I've got to go. He just can't listen to it anymore. And I know he's told me, he says, what he said is, he's like, I don't know what I can do. There's nothing I can do for you. That's what he's told me. There's nothing he can do for me to help me out of my situation. So now I'm in the situation of, now these other women were homeless at that time. And it's like, here we are over 30 years later, so there was a lot of women around military bases that were left homeless. Let's put it that way. They still are. It's a fact of life. Nobody wants to talk about it. And everybody wants to say, oh, well, if you're not living here or here or here or here or here, then you're not really homeless. But there's many different levels of what homeless is. And I'm going to keep saying that. And we have to erase the stigma against homeless people. I've said the same thing about, not all homeless people are on drugs. Not all homeless people just didn't try hard enough in life to do something with their life. And so, the thing that I think about is the guy in his mom's attic or in his basement, however those guys want to word it or whatever. You know what? That depicts inflation. It had nothing to do with marijuana. It had everything to do with prices rising. So the guy in the attic who was smoking marijuana in his mom's attic, he was there because of the fact of prices rising higher, and he couldn't afford to live anywhere. He couldn't find a job. The man in his... Are they really tearing down the White House? Oh my gosh. It looks like they're tearing down the White House. There's a huge hole in the building. Oh my goodness. So I've always said that it's like we have got to change the dialogue, because it's like basically you're trashing someone that's in my family or me or someone that you even might know, your own family member in the future. So why are we making fun of people who are in very hard situations? So let me recap a little bit. Now, all homeless people are not on drugs. I hate the thing about drugs, why we repeat that over and over again. I would rather focus on why are pharmaceuticals and medicals so expensive. I think that's something that's important to focus on. Why is all of that so expensive? I want to focus on why is everything so expensive? Why is life made hard on purpose for us? That's what I want us to think about. Why should things be made hard on purpose for us? Why is life supposed to be hard? I want to keep asking that over and over again. Why should life be hard? Why is someone so mean? Why are bankers and leaders of countries so mean that they just want to make life hard for us on purpose? Can anyone tell me that? I mean, what is the rational argument for that? Other than greed. And, it's like, now me, I can't just waltz in someplace and get millions and millions of dollars from the United States government. So why is it that both Donald Trump and Elon Musk have been able to waltz in and get billions of dollars from the United States government with jobs that they do? And I believe, I just saw a thing of Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, bless her heart. She took the Pocahontas thing really, really well. I know I always said I wouldn't be insulted if someone called me Pocahontas. I wouldn't. It would not insult me one bit. But bless her heart, she said that she used the thing and she said Donald Trump takes the money and he just pockets it, and then he leaves very little in for his business. That's what she said. That's what she said. And that's still apparently a very popular phrase. That's what she said. So he just takes the money and he keeps it for himself, so if you can get away with it, I guess, that's how he made his billions. So he had some money from his dad, but then he used that money to get some grant money and go bounce through all these loopholes and make himself very, very wealthy. And apparently Elon Musk has done the same thing. So he comes in the United States, takes taxpayer money, and then he uses. Now, I don't know how he came up with Grok, though. I mean, I do like I do like, I don't know who Elon hired to make Grok. Is Elon even smart enough to do something like that? Is he a programmer? Does anybody know? I mean, I do like his app. I always used to like Twitter too, but I don't want to see a bunch of I don't want to see a bunch of inappropriate adult content all the time, and people have said that's still a very, very vulgar place. I just wanted to use it for promoting. Now they've said that X is really a good place to promote things right now, but I just don't want to be hammered with a bunch of adult content. I mean, gosh, I can take some of the, what am I going to call it? It's like, I don't like people being exploited. I don't like that aspect. And so, I just don't want to be bombarded with that. But in the past, I have always liked X, which used to be Twitter. And so I have mixed feelings about X right now for that very reason. I don't know if maybe I could just use it somehow to promote and avoid connecting with other people, or I don't know. I have no idea how that would work. I mean, because I don't mind connecting with other people. It's just I don't want I don't want, I mean, I don't mind even suggestions for videos and things like that or content. I just don't want to be hammered with, um, I mean, if it's, I don't even know how to word things now without someone saying, "Oh, well, do you want that to happen to you?" It's like, yeah, but then most of the people who are doing that a lot of times are taking it out of context, because they're like, "Oh," then it turns out they're the poor rich businessman who is saying, "Oh, do you want that to happen to you?" Well, okay, so you're the rich. So let's go to the Rosie O'Donnell thing that they always talk about. So Rosie, and I get what she said. So she would say something against Donald, and he would lash out horrible at her. And she was right about it. She was absolutely right about it. And so it sounded to me like that's a lot of pressure for her. And so she bowed out of a lot of conversations, and someone said something about that she moved over to Ireland or something like that to live, just to get out of the media spotlight. I was like, I'm not afforded that opportunity my own self to be able to just pick up and move. I don't have a network who's just going to pick me up and move me someplace else when the kitchen gets too hot. I've never had that. So YouTubers end up with nothing. That's what happens. YouTubers end up with nothing. New U.S. strike on drug smuggling boat. Oh, is that the attack? That's the attack? I guess it must be. That must be the attack they're talking about on the boat. I guess that's it. I do have the TV on right now, so I see a tiny bit of stuff, but I usually don't watch it that much because I just happened to catch that headline because I thought, well, someone was talking about an attack that was going on, and so I thought, let's see what they're talking about. So maybe that's what they're talking about, the attack on the drug smuggling boat. And that's not the first time that's happened. We have consistently had drug smuggling boats. You know what they are? You know what those boats are? Those are the underwater submersibles. And so I've seen them on video. So they're the underwater submersibles, and they're kind of like a submarine. And what they do is they submerge themselves just below the surface, and then they're able to skirt the radar. And so if anything from the air, they might look like a giant fish. So the thing I'm thinking about with those though, there's a big risk because the thing is if someone decided that, well, let's say they decided they wanted to test out some type of a rocket or some type of weapon or something in the ocean. And then they see that and they think, "Oh, that's just a fish. I'm going to drop this nuclear warhead on top of that fish." And here it turns out to be El Trende Aragua or something like that. So I don't know. Maybe it's part of that ongoing war in the Venezuela, because I know that there's some stuff going on down there related to drug smuggling, and but that's a long ways though for them to haul that stuff in those little boats. I mean, they'd have to piggyback them, and it's like, is that the kind of is that how? I mean, is that the street drugs, or is that the pharmaceutical drugs, how they're getting them into the United States? I mean, maybe it's maybe that's how they're getting the pharmaceuticals in. I don't know. Surf therapy. Veterans speak on what is surf therapy? Oh, surf therapy. Oh, interesting. Oh, that just popped up here. Interesting. Veterans speak on surf therapy. Um, you know, yeah. Let me go back on topic here. Data surfer. Now, do you guys remember, and even couch surfing? Couch surfing. You guys could have fun with couch surfing too. Remember Tom Cruise jumping up on the couch and being silly? Well, you could get a couch. Oh, I just thought of something. Oh, imagine this. So you're parachuting out of a plane and you've got a couch that's got, I don't know how it would float, but it's attached to your feet somehow. I think we can do that. I think that with the stuff that I have, we might be able to make a little short video of that, of a guy that's parachuting, and there's a couch that he is standing on, and he's literally couch surfing the sky, or you could, oh, oh, I forgot about the other one, the couch surfing, where people take the couches. I'm not recommending anybody do this, but there's videos on YouTube that I've seen, and they're actually literally funny, especially when no one gets hurt. And that's my concern, is people getting hurt doing something. But it's on YouTube, so I think I can talk about it. So it's the people where they put wheels on a couch and then they pull it around. And, just I think they pull it around slow, or sometimes they'll attach a couch to like a flatbed or something and then ride around in the couch. And, to me, that's almost like a taunt to the police, I guess. Because the police, well, it's kind of like you could even surf in the back of a truck too, if you stand in the back of a truck. So there's a lot of, if you get up on your steps, you could look like you're surfing on the steps of an escalator. Oh, escalator would be cool. An escalator surf, using your green screen, and you're going up the steps and you're surfing upwards. Or a parachute. You're going up an escalator and you've got on a parachute and you're going up instead of down. So your parachute is taking you up instead of down. That would be interesting. So then maybe there's a couch on your feet. I don't know. People like the word couch for some reason. Oh, wait. I just thought of something. A couching stitch. A couching pattern stitch. There is a couch stitch, I believe. Let me look that up. In sewing, there's a couch stitch, and I think that that's probably something that's going to be used in upholstery in cars too. The couch. Let me look up couch stitch. So in embroidery, yes, couch stitch embroidery. Absolutely, yes, there is. I'm wondering if it's similar to the blanket stitch. Oh, couching is very similar. It's a little bit different though. The couch stitch it's really pretty. A couching stitch in embroidery uses 2 different threads to secure a main thread or cord on the fabric. I love embroidery though. I mean, I used to use that on crochet all the time. Okay. So data surfer. Data. And what? Yeah, data. DATA and DADA. Data. I know you guys are going to love this. The infantry. You guys know the connections. I've said this before. Oh my gosh. When I started talking about this stuff, someone started going crazy with excitement when I was and I don't know who it was, but they were going crazy with excitement when I was talking about these connections. I said, oh my gosh, it's called the infantry for a reason. I mean, they're babies, and I think they call them, someone overuses, do you want to go home to mama now? Someone overuses that an awful lot right now, Mr. President. He overuses it an awful lot. We're going to send you home to mama. You need to go home to mama. Go get your mama. And it's like, well, why is he doing all that now? Now, I know I did make a silly video the other day about what's going on in Oakland, California. Cops open fire on trucks speeding towards them amid Oakland, California ICE protests. Okay, so there's protesting taking place again. So someone is being mean to the protesters again. I hope they're American citizens, because, to me, it's kind of looked like some of them have not been American, which there's nothing wrong with that. I think that people should be able to protest safely, because they might be protesting for something, like, well, how are they going to get home? I think there's still a lot of people who want to go back home to their country and they don't know how to do it. Even though Pam Bondi has told people how to go home, If they don't understand her and they don't speak English, they're not going to understand how to go home. And I think a lot of them do want to go home, and they're trying to figure that out. U.S. AG Attorney General Pam Bondi warns Nancy Pelosi, J.B. Pritzker not to impede ICE agents. Yeah. So, data surfer. Okay, so D-A-T-A, data surfer. S-U-R-F-E-R. That's how we started. We started it out calling surfing the web. Surfing the www. Maybe we should add that. Oh, we need to add that on there. www data surfer. www. Oh, did I sound like an Indian? www. Sound like creepy Indian person from India. www. Oh, the surfer. The surf. Would you like rolls? A roll. A roll. With that? A roll. Drum roll. Don't you bark at me. No barking. Don't you bark. This is a no bark zone. No barking. Okay. www.com. You need to go to www. That would drive them. If Doc Compton did that to the Indian call scammers, just go to www.com. www. Alrighty. Okay, data surfer. He looks pretty good. Even though mine is a little bit different, but that's okay. It's supposed to be. And, so I guess I want to call it my friend on Reddit. There is a few friendly people. There's a few friendlies. They're hard to find, but I do find friendlies every now and then. And they told me, they said, well, as long as it's not identical and exact when you draw it, then it is different, so at least we've gotten away from the one who says, oh, if you draw from something, then you are violating something else. It's like, no, everything is not a violation. Okay, let me ask this. I've asked this question before. Who is the person who is going to sue another human being? I want to hear this lawsuit. Okay, they had a baby, and their baby looks identical to another baby. And so how in the world can you have a baby then? Because all babies are copyright, and they're infringing on someone else's original copyright because most babies look alike. They all look alike. Human babies, humanoid babies, they kind of all look alike. And it doesn't matter the culture that they are. They all pretty much look alike. www. That would get annoying very fast. My name is Sean. www. Oh. Just hit the side of the analog. We're stuck a little bit. www. Oh, goodness. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Let's darken these little parts up in here a little bit. We'll darken this up in here. And I have no idea why the media turns against the veterans the way they do. It's not even just the veterans. They turn against, well, it's the money people more than anything. They turn against anyone who doesn't align with them. And it's like, you're going to have a hard time. Legacy media and money people are going to have a very hard time convincing people who have no money to align with them. It's just not going to happen. You know, just because you pay someone a little bit of money, it's like, yeah, well, you still didn't solve any problems. The problems still exist. And so, you know, maybe not for that person, but the problems still exist. It's our veterans, they're data surfers. Oh, they absolutely are. I know, I remember how, what was it? What intelligence branch was it? I mean, they literally work for, they have, well, their intelligence is, I don't know what the word is there. I mean, other than their intelligence. I mean, that's what they're paid to do, is be intelligence for the United States. And I think that when I go into this area, that's when I don't get as many views anymore, because I don't know what happens. I think I do, and then I think I don't, and so I don't know. Because I've never been intelligence before. So, okay, let's get some more of these little things in here. And then we'll probably be doing, I really like the Google Photos thing too that we have. The picture to video. Google Photos has a lot of, I can do 3 per day. And so that creates a lot of fun too. And it's also kind of fun when I get the short, the highlight from my live stream. It's always a surprise for me to see what I get with my live stream. I don't know how I would get a moderator either. I'm not just going to let any person be a moderator. I'm just my own moderator right now. I don't really have a reason to have a moderator. I know there's, I know they have a thing where they're trying the thing out where they have 2 people where you can, but you know, it's like, I don't know anybody right now to have someone else come on my stream. I would if I thought someone was going to be good and just have a discussion with me or something like that, but it's like, I don't want the headaches of, you know, like the moderators that I've seen. Some of them have just deleted all the comments, and it's like, well, that's not the kind of moderator that I want. I want comments. I'd like to have something that helps my channel, not makes it worse. Now, there's some people, apparently, they don't care if they make their channels worse, and that's what their goal is, to make their channels worse, and then they delete them, and they just get rid of everything, and then they start over again, and they go back to doing one topic only, and, you know, which, I mean, I guess that's a strategy. I mean, Technically, I still sometimes steer towards one topic only. I mean, it's easy to do that. That doesn't mean that it's going to be successful or anything like that, or that it's going to work. Um, but, you know, if you don't try, you never know. I mean, I thought, well, I mean, you know, I've said some really horrific things about the internet and about YouTube in and of itself, and my disappointments in it. You know, I've compared, actually, I've compared YouTube to my marriage. And I've said, you know, I've experienced some heartbreak with YouTube, how I thought something would go and work out, and it didn't work out for me. People have gotten very, very angry at me when I said it didn't work out. They're like, we know it's supposed to work out. It should work out. But what they're counting on is that artificial intelligence is going to do what they want it to do. So, for example, when I see people come on the internet and they assume that I'm artificial intelligence and they tell me to do this and to do that, I just sit there and it's like, okay, so you really do think I'm artificial intelligence, and you're telling me that you want this and you want that, and you want me to do it for you, and you're just assuming that I'm a robot. And it's like, well, no, I'm just not gonna do that all the time just because you do that channel specifically and you want to make yourself have millions of subscribers, and then you just leave me behind. It's like, that's not fun for me that I get left behind. I don't want to be left behind all the time. Nobody does, you know, no matter what we do. It's kind of like that experiment where there was a teacher. The teacher, she gave her students, it was what was it, a word? I can't remember what it was now. It was a fun experiment. She gave them problems to solve, and there was like 5 of them, 5 or 10, something like that. And it was words. Oh, it was words within words, I think. And she said some of them were really easy. So they were supposed to juggle the words around. And is that anagrams, I think? I'm not positive. But she gave them words to juggle around. And she said that, and so she said one side was able to solve them and the other side wasn't. And so then she started talking to them, and so she was asking them to share their feedback with her. They were sharing their feedback. And so then eventually, when she was done talking to her students, she says, well, I want you guys to know. She says, I gave half of the class this word, and I gave the other half of the class this other word, which was a lot harder and it was really harder to be solved. There was really not any words to be juggled around. And so then they kind of thought it was funny. And so she called it setting her class up to be, what was the word now? Setting them up for failure. Learned helplessness. That was the word that was used, learned helplessness. And so she purposely sabotaged one side of her classroom with something that was just not realistic. And it's like, well, yeah, well, how you can call that learned helplessness? Well, how is it learned helplessness? Because of the fact that you actually set them up for failure. You didn't give them the same, so, well, no wonder. Is learned helplessness, or is it just being deceptive? Learned helplessness or deceptive practices. Okay. So I'm trying to get data surfer. Maybe I should add a little bit of extra something in here. How would let's see here. I don't want to mess it up too much. Hopefully it looks kind of like electricity a little bit. That's not too bad. I like that. Looks like a little spark of some sort. Let's add some little sparks. It looks like a little ignition. I like that a lot, actually, now. Let's do it on this side too. I have seen some hilarious billboards now on the digital signs. It's almost like nobody's advertising, and so they're just putting any old junk up on the digital signs now. I think it would be great if they put some of my YouTube videos up on the digital signs. I think people would like it while they're driving or while they're stuck in traffic and they had to look at my YouTube videos while they're driving. I think that would be a lot of fun. You know, especially when there's traffic jams and things like that, and they had to look at my YouTube videos, they could put them up on the digital signs. They'd rather see, oh, they'd love to look at my billboard attorney too. I think that would be hilarious. I really do. I think that would be hilarious that they had to look at billboard attorney. Alrighty there. Okay, let's do this little part, and then I think I'm going to be done. Yep. That looks pretty good. And we got some sparks and ignition going on down here. And alrighty, I think that's it. Thanks for watching, and we will see you guys the next time.